The Python programming language is a very versatile and kind of new programming language. We've seen C so far, but now let's go take a look at Python. So the big difference between C and Python and what you're going to see is the variable typing. In Python, you would write something like a equals 1. And if you were to see that in C, you would go insane because you don't have an identifier for the type variable. In C, you would instead write int a equals 1. This integer is not present in Python, but it doesn't mean that Python doesn't do variable typing. Instead, Python does automatic variable typing. So for example, if you do a equals 1, Python knows that a is an integer. If instead you were to do a equals 1.1, Python would automatically know that a is a floating point number. There are kind of a lot of different types in Python. The main types we're going to see are, of course, integers, floating point, but Python also takes booleans, so true and false. And it also takes strings, which are natively implemented. Now, whereas in C, strings were a bit complicated to handle because they were more like a characters array, in Python they are automatically implemented. Another important thing about Python is that the variable a can change type when the program is running, whereas in C, if a is of type int, you are never going to change the type. Another important thing to notice is that in Python, you do not have access to the pointers of a variable. So for example, in C, you could write something like a pointer on an integer. You don't have such a thing in Python. Python handles the memory automatically. It is a programming language which is called garbage collected, which means that when a variable is no longer used, it is automatically removed from memory. So you don't have to malloc and free stuff. So it is a very much more easier programming language to handle. Now, like any programming languages, Python also has some statements that you need to master. So in the same way as in C, where you would do a for loop, you can do exactly the same thing in Python. There's a for loop, you have a while loop, and you have your if and then. The syntax is exactly the same. In C, you would do a while and a condition, or a if and a condition. And the for has a bit of a more interesting syntax. In Python, the for, the while, and the if all have a condition, except for the for, which is more like something you would iterate on. And we're going to see that in some other places.